Again. I started the audio before the video. Let's try that again. Hey folks, welcome back to this episode of the GalaxyCast as we talk about the next episode of Star Wars Resistance, at least to us it is. This would be Season 1, Episode 7. No, that's not right. What's the episode number? What the deuce? Sorry, let's try it again. This would be Season 1, Episode 6, titled Signal from Sector 6. Too many sixes. Okay, so long story short, we actually see, not Poe, the main character. Oh my gosh,
Chaz.
Thank you, Chaz. Go off the station finally for the first time. This is the first time all season, right? That we've seen him leave the station. Which
other than to go a couple 100 yards out on a speeder bike.
Right. And I kind of feel like we've been Deep Space Nining it for so long. I didn't know what it was like to not be on Deep Space Nine all of a sudden. So they go out in these ships it's a training exercise, right? That they decide that they're gonna.
Well, it's mostly just to brief, for Kaz to brief Poe on what he's learned so far about what's going on with the First Order at the Colossus, and then because he knows that he likes to fly, and so does Poe, they're like, let's just go flex our wings and go out for a flight.
Go jam or something, yeah. And in the process of doing that, they discover a pirate ship in the middle of an asteroid field.
Well, a cargo ship.
A cargo ship.
That has been attacked by pirates. There's one destroyed pirate ship floating next to it.
Right, and so they decide to go and check it out, and they discover there's some life signs, and it's interesting. We have two droids, by the way, in this episode. We have BB-8 and CB-4?
23.
CB-23. CB-23 is just basically a stylized version of BB-8, different colors, but same concept, same idea.
And obviously a female.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's a.
But I thought BB-8 was supposed to be a female.
Supposed to be, but then they rolled it back before The Force Awakens came out. They actually did say it was male.
I thought since then they've said it's female.
No, it's actually a male droid. They have wholeheartedly admitted it's a male droid. I know I was kind of shocked too. I thought it was female, and they rolled it back somewhere.
How about droids don't have a sex? Because they're
that's what I don't understand either. Why do we have to have droids that have a sexual orientation at all?
Right.
Who cares if they're male, female, gay, straight, I don't know, mixer, queer, I don't know. It's like whatever they are. It doesn't matter. You're a droid and you're not procreating with other droids because isn't that one of Asimov's rules, right?
No, the three were you cannot harm a human.
Right.
You cannot do an act.
Harm to come to a human.
You can't do action that would cause harm to a human.
Right.
I can't remember what the three laws of robotics were now. God dang it.
But there's three.
Yes, they were. There's three. And so anyway, so we have two droids, and we go onto the station, and Poe and Kaz decide they're going to try to find this life form. And in the process of searching this ship, they come across... Well, first off, they come across a creature that sounds like it's an amalgamation of a Rathtar and a Rancor, for crying out loud, in the distance. So that's the common thing in the background. This thing's stomping around. We don't know what it is.
Stomping around and roaring.
But then we're trying to find the life forms of somebody on the ship. And while we're doing that, we kind of keep having these weird moments off to the side and on top and on the floors, and
they keep running into Salacious Crumb.
Well, the creatures that are like Salacious Crumb, he called them monkey lizards, right? Yep. Something like that, which are Koakians, by the way. Now, this is actually part of the show that I liked because the Koakians were actually kind of funny.
Yeah, the humor worked for once.
The humor worked. I couldn't help but think of them as gremlins. I mean, they really were kind of reacting like that, running up, stealing.
They were troublemakers.
Stealing Poe's gun, then shooting at him with it. And, all I could think of was that scene in Gremlins, the very first one, when they're in the bar, and you have the one gremlin going, like I was just waiting for something crazy like that.
They kept taking Kaz and smashing his face into the ground.
Right. I mean, there was that. And then there was the moment where they're going after BB-8 and they're going after CB-23, and it was actually kind of a hysterical thing. And then my favorite was to end it all. Poe comes running back in and kind of shoots his gun in the air,
and one just drops
to
dead.
Scare him, and he kills one by accident. Like, oops! And then they all run off because he killed one. And
I actually like when BB-8 hooked the leg of the one and spun.
Yeah, spun him around and
threw it, and it ended up right on Kaz's face. He just got one off, and it hits the one.
Yeah,
and the humor worked.
And then another one grabbed his leg and started helping it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Gremlins to the nth
But yeah,
degree.
we were watching this episode, and for the first time ever this season, I heard both of these guys
Laughing,
giggle or laugh,
yeah.
even out loud, just a little bit. It happened.
Yeah.
And you probably get the best rating for me.
Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed parts of this episode. I was shocked. So they run off the monkey lizards only to find the person that they've been trying to search for.
Lock themselves into a canister of some kind, a container.
In some sort of a container, and they decide they're going to take this person back to one of their X-wings to get him back to the ship with Jaeger. In the meantime, they finally discover what the gigantic creature is, and apparently it's a monkey lizard on crack or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They get big.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if maybe Umbrella Corps somehow got onto the ship and started playing around with monkey lizards and created their own nemesis or something.
Salacious Crumb's been lifting.
Right? I'd love to know if that one lasts. Does it go, whoa, like almost like Jabba, right? So it starts chasing after them, and of course now they've decided they're gonna get this it's a girl at this point back to it. So they're trying to drag this body. I did think it was funny that Kaz is like, she's getting heavy, like he couldn't actually carry her the whole way. Meanwhile, BB-8 had kind of a righteous moment with BB-23, who's apparently female. And I think she's all like enamored with BB-8 somewhere along the way.
The episode started with the two of them being cantankerous towards each other.
And by the end of the episode, they don't want to go in separate directions. So
it's because BB-8 saved her.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so there's that love saving remorse or whatever you want to call it, and
the damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress mode. Yeah. So they're trying to get back to the ship. Poe tries to hold off the monkey lizard that's on crack, and they basically get to the ship just in time to take off and avoid the gigantic monkey lizard. And they meet up with Jaeger. They transfer the girl there, along with BB-8. And they tell the girl that, or they tell Kaz and Jaeger to take her back to the station and kind of help her out, get better, and then she can go on her way. And she wakes up, and I thought she did the next funniest thing of the whole episode. Her immediate reaction is to punch Kaz right in the face.
Yes.
And when she wakes up, they take her back to the station, much to Jaeger's displeasure. But she doesn't hang out for long. They get her registered, and she takes off. She leaves. And then comes the kind of the cliffhanger moment, or the shock moment, where she contacts what I'm assuming is a pirate.
Yep.
And
it was a trap.
Basically tells him that, hey, I'm on the station now. And he says, great. Just hang tight. We're going to have something for you to do later on.
So it turns out she wasn't a passenger on the ship. She was one of the pirates.
She was actually one of the pirates for the ship. So
what a twist!
That's how we end it. And so what did you guys think of this episode? I mean, like I said, there were actually some humorous parts. I mean, Gary, what was your favorite part of this episode?
Oh, the whole monkey lizard attack scene.
Okay, the whole scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done, too. I just liked all of it. I mean, the penultimate moment was Poe shooting his gun in the air and one just dropping from the ceiling. I didn't expect that at all.
The only thing that distracted from the whole episode for me was the giant lizard monkey and steroids.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't seem to match in with anything else. I think it would have been better if they had like a Rancor or Rathtar or something along that lines. I'd have been okay with it. I think they stayed away from Rathars only because nobody seemed to like that part of The Force Awakens.
Oh, I did.
The Rathtar section.
It felt totally out of place.
Yeah. So I think they stayed away from that, which was probably a smart play. I thought it would have been better to have like a Rancor.
Yeah, Wookiee.
Well, that actually would have been cool too. I never thought about that. Having a Wookiee in there throwing things around. Sure, absolutely. That would have been scary as all get out, and maybe showed the other side of the not the nice Wookiee, but the angry, upset Wookiee. But I agree with you, Gary. That was rather distracting. I take it that's the part you would say you liked the least about the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I think my favorite part was the monkey lizard grabbing Kaz and just going bam, 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 bam.
Smash
just
his
like
face
smash
into the
his
ground.
face into the. I don't know why I found that.
Every single time one of them got at him, it's like they'd go after Poe, they'd try to take his gun. They'd go after the other things, they'd climb on him. Every time they went for him, they went for his face.
Yeah.
They just tried to beat him up in the face.
And I don't know if that's. This is going to sound awful. I don't know if that's just because that's what I really want to have happen to Kaz. Like at this point, I'm just like, I can't stand his character. Yeah, just have him go bam, bam. I don't know. Maybe that's just what I want to have happen to that character. Yeah. But my least favorite part of this whole episode was the cheesy romance between BB-8 and BB-23. It just, I don't know. you don't need to have droid romance to make a show happen. You know what I mean? I don't know. It could have been friendly. It didn't need to be romantic. Just droids get friendly.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe they were just being friendly. Like,
but it sure felt like there was
yeah.
supposed to be something going on there anyway.
But Bob would rather see Poe and Kaz fall in love with each other.
Absolutely, and then they could do Station 69, so we're all good.
Cut there. There's an edit.
Absolutely not. So, Eric, what was your least favorite part of this episode?
Actually, my least favorite part of the episode was when they were leaving the ship with her in the back of the X-Wing and they got attacked by the pirates. It was totally just a sequence to play off of the whole... He tried to learn that space move earlier that he couldn't do, and then I knew it was going to pay off. He'd do it at some point, and sure enough, these guys attack him, and he does his move. And hey, I knew you could do it. It was just, there was way too much. That was telegraphed a mile away, and was completely unnecessary.
Well, not only was it telegraphed, but it got the other pirates to just leave. There were 3 other pirates.
Well, Poe blew up one.
Yep, Poe blew up.
There were 3. Poe blew up one crashed. The third decided it was outnumbered 2 to 1 and took off.
All right. So, okay. I forgot the one crashed. Okay.
Yeah.
So, overall, this wasn't an awful episode. I mean, we had some Star Wars Resistance episodes where we get over here and we're kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we have to talk about this. There wasn't any of that, at least. Not
getting
for
off
me
the
this time.
getting off the Colossus helped. I was looking forward to the Colossus and thinking it'd be a cool environment and that they'd do a lot of intrigue and stuff. And they've done nothing with it yet in 6 episodes. So I was happy to get off and actually see space.
Yeah,
in Star Wars.
Part of me is like, let's find our Defiant and start figuring out a way to get off this ship because it's not working what we're doing.
I was waiting for him on the cargo ship to find fuel.
I would have absolutely laughed hysterical too.
As soon as I saw it was a living creature cage, I'm like, oh, at least it's not fuel canisters.
All right, so let's rate this episode. A 0 as being a don't bother. A 10's a must see. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Gary.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty darn high.
That's pretty hard for you. Yeah. Okay.
So, especially for this.
Yeah. So why a 6?
I liked watching the monkeys beat the crap out of Poe and Kaz.
Yeah. Okay. That's the main reason for the 6?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Eric, what would you rate this one?
I'm going to give it a solid 6.
Okay.
I think the humor worked for once. The actual blocking of the whole monkey sequences and stuff was all pretty humorous. Everything worked for me, like BB-8 spinning the creature and throwing it, and the shot in the air with the one dropping dead.
Right.
Just whoever did this, someone either they got a new writer on this episode or they let someone do stuff who didn't before, and he put some good. They put some good stuff in.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I liked seeing Poe. It's always good to get characters we know back in the episodes and stuff, and draw us in a bit more. It did seem mostly like a filler episode. The reason I have to give it points off is they definitely put up some flimsy excuses as to why they had to go flying out into space.
Right.
Poe wanted to catch up and be debriefed. Okay, well, get on board their ship and talk while you're flying around the planet.
Yeah, right. Go on the Star Tours.
Yeah, go on the Star Tours, sit down in the back, fly in the clouds. You guys are fine. No, we're going to go out into space. We're going to fly around for a while in asteroids.
They could hold hands with each other and everything.
Watch the sunrise over the ocean.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it was a flimsy excuse to get them out into space. I'm always happy to see space in Star Wars and X-Wings and stuff I know, but it definitely was a stretch. They took a premise and really were like, oh, we need to get him into space. Let's come up with something.
Right.
And nothing really happened in this episode. We were introduced to a new character who may become important as it progresses.
Right.
But it seems like there would have been other ways to get that character on the Colossus without having to go through all this. So I give it a 6 for the things that did work and the -4 for the things that felt pushed and rushed.
And the main thing for me is I was entertained for a change.
Yeah, you weren't asleep in this one. I was surprised. Right. So I was actually going to give this one a 7, and I'll explain why a 7. I know I'm a little slightly higher than you guys.
It's because the BB-8 was in it.
Well, yeah, I love BB-centric episodes. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But it wasn't all BB-8. There was a couple things that I noticed about this one that kind of grabbed my attention and said, hey, maybe they're moving in the right direction. This is not a 9 or a 10 where I'm like, oh my gosh, people should start watching Star Wars Resistance. I'm still not there yet. Sorry, you haven't got me there. It kind of was like, okay, now maybe we're starting to have some fun with this. The things that I liked, I mean, other than the monkey lizards themselves, was the idea that we were able to get off the planet. We were able to have an episode that didn't require like a core Star Wars character to create it. Yeah, Poe's kind of, but to me, he's not a Leia, Solo,
Right.
Skywalker
Even
even
a Calrissian.
even a Calrissian, right? Like you're not having to draw that in. So you actually created a decent episode without having to pull in somebody like that in order to make the episode work. So I give them some props for that. I also think, even though it is kind of a filler episode, I think down the line we're going to find out this is a really important episode because this girl is, I think, going to become a big deal later on. There's now a pirate in their base. What's that going to do for them? It's got me wondering. It's the first time we're kind of in a cliffhanger where I'm going, oh, I wonder what's going to happen now. What's she going to do? What are the pirates going to do? How are they going to play a role? I'm actually asking questions at this end of this episode, and I wouldn't have cared at the end of any of the other episodes. Now, the other thing I'm keeping in mind, too, my 7 might be affected by the fact that we've had so many bad episodes of Resistance that, like, I'm kind of like, my 7 may actually really be a 5 in reality, but compared to everything else, feels like a 7. You know what I mean? So that's my other element to this. So, and I guess that's my question. My last question to you guys: like, do you feel like because we've seen so many bad Resistance episodes in a row, could they put out like just a little over mediocre episode and we're like, oh my gosh, it's at least a little bit better? I mean, is that possible? It's going on here.
A little. I'm sure there's a bit of that rebound effect we're having. I'd like to think that there's a bit more quality to this episode just naturally. It felt like it was. It just felt like it flowed a little better. I can't quite put my finger on anything specific, but it had a bit more cohesion to it. And
almost a natural feel to it.
Yeah, it felt natural, and I liked that. I want to see more of this. Whether or not some of it was influenced by that we've seen so many bad ones, I'm sure, to an extent, yeah.
Gary, do you think that's possible too? That's being influenced by all the bad ones?
Yeah, I think so. And well, Eric also said that it had Poe in it. Like
True.
So we're getting back into that. Only good episodes are going to be with Star Wars characters in it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, characters from the movies and stuff.
We'll have to see as we go through the weeks ahead if maybe this holds up, you know what I mean? Or if this was just a one-off and it ain't going to hold up over time. Okay, so that was our thoughts on this episode of Star Wars Resistance. Also our thoughts on John Wick 3 trailer, Ghostbusters 2020, Spiderman Far From Home, the Darth Vader fan film that may not have been or could have been or may will be. And, of course, Star Wars Resistance. And
which had Dave Filoni voicing one of the Space Monkeys.
Yes, if you did not know, Dave Filoni, Gary, actually voiced one of the Space Monkeys.
Yeah, and I kept it quiet.
You did. So, as we always like to say here in the Star Production Studios,
May the Force be with those who listen.
To Jedi Killer Dillion.
I guess in Shatterpoints.
And I'm too tired to do a tag.
Okay, that's it, guys. All right, thank you, YouTube Land. We will see you next time.